Hello friends, I come to you today with a subject that flows organically from the video that I just put up, and that would be, some of my favorite post-apocalyptic movies. I wanted to talk to you guys today about what would you do, or what I would do in a post-apocalyptic world. What is my plan? What is my apocalyptic plan? Well, I'm not going to break out the charts and the blueprints. I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to talk in generalizations because there are plans and then there are plans, if you know what I'm saying. And your viral apocalypse or, death of the masses due to some bacteria is going to be different from your zombie apocalypse, which is going to be different from your nuclear Armageddon. So I'm just going to speak of generalities here. Because if we're talking about a zombie apocalypse, I may put more focus on guns and ammo. But I'm going to tell you right up front, crazy's biggest secret, and I almost don't want to let this out into the world, but I am just too nice of a guy, goddammit, and this is what's going to get me killed in the post-apocalyptic world, so do as I say, not as I do. Okay? The number one currency in a post-apocalyptic world is going to be pharmaceuticals. That's right. And some of you may be saying, hey, crazy, what about gasoline and water and food? Yes, bullets, ammo, guns, of course. Pharmaceuticals, that's your bread and butter. Now, so basically, all of the plans that I'm going to talk about in this video, they need to be, it's 2012 already. By November, all of this stuff needs to be enacted. The pharmaceuticals are the last thing that happen. Because when the shit hits the fan, there's a fine line. There's that line where you cross over and you realize, you know what? It's okay to go to Walgreens and take what you need. You'll know when that time comes. When the pandemonium sets in and all hell has broken loose and the freaks are in the streets, then you head to Walgreens and you stock up. Because think about it. Just think about it. I mean, a lot of people are going to die from simple things like strep throat. That'll kill a motherfucker. So you need antibiotics and you need painkillers and just anything else you can get your hands on, Now, the other stuff, you should already be there. You should already have the cabin in the woods. Yes, I know that's a cliche, but it's the best way. And never have one of anything. Or never put all of your eggs in one basket. Let me put it that way. Let's say, if you have a cabin in the woods, then you need to have a hidey hole, like the one that Saddam Hussein squatted in for months. You need to have a hidey hole where you keep the rest of your shit, right? Because how horrible would it be to have spent the past decade of my life stocking up for the apocalypse only to have some fucking toothless yahoo come around with a rusty shotgun and rob me blind. Now, if that were to happen, my advice is, because you are smart enough to put the rest of your shit into a hidey hole, a spider hole, you have to grin and bear it. You have to swallow your pride and let them walk away with your shit because it's survival. That brings me to another point. You've seen the movie The Road. Never give Robert Duvall a can of peaches, okay? I don't care how pitiful. And this is another thing. Look at my face. Okay? Fuck that shit. Do you know what I'm saying? I have like this kindly face. You need, in the month leading up to December of this year, you need to shave your head and get a goatee. Basically, you need to look like the guys in American History X. I hate to say it, but you need to look like a badass. Or probably a better way of putting that would be to look like a biker gang. That sounds less, racist. But you need to look like a real hard ass. Watch the movie the road warrior. Get some ideas, you know? Wear some leather chaps. Look like a badass. But don't give him the peaches. Do not give him the peaches, because he's going to find some way, some fucking way, he's going to knock you over the head with his fucking wooden clogs. I mean, just, you can't be nice. You have to take care of you and yours. That is a very big rule. In fact, I would place that rule number 1, take care of you and yours. Whoever your friends are, your family, your loved ones. That excludes me, of course. If I come to you with my hand out, I would assume, since I'm giving you this valuable information, that you will take me in. Also, because I haven't done jack shit, I'm a lazy asshole, and I just sit around and fantasize about the apocalypse, I will need your help. But moving on. Guns, ammo. Thank God we live in the good old US of A, where it's very easy to get our hands on weapons and ammunition. That's covered. You can do that months in advance. You know, we can talk about all the different kinds of guns, blah, blah, blah. You know what to do. All right? Heavy duty SUV, stocked full. Now let's talk about the cabin, all right? Let's talk about, you know, you're not going to just drive down some dirt road to a cabin. I mean, do you want to leave? It's just fucking stupid. You got to think about this shit, folks. Think about it. All right? You need switchbacks. You need to hide the SUV and walk to the cabin. By the way, at the cabin, there is a separate getaway car, okay, that will get you back to the SUV. All right? So you really got to think about this shit. Sources of energy. Of course, you know, you're going to have lots of generators, because I don't want to stay in some fucking rustic cabin. You know, where I'm gonna want 10,000 Blu-rays, a home theater. You know, I'm gonna want to be able to immerse in that shit. I don't want to be sitting in a rustic cabin with a little, you know, wood fire and a, yeah, I don't. Charlie's Theron looking depressed in the corner. I don't want that. You need solar panels. You need a field with windmills. You need all sources of energy, okay? My biggest thing, backup. Backup plans, backup food, backup, you know, weapons, everything. You got to think about all this shit, folks. The time is drawing nigh, you know? If you haven't putting these plans into action, you need to get started now, okay? Forget about buying movies, all right? You need to put your resources where it matters. Oh, man, I don't know what else to say. Cabin in the woods, pharmaceuticals, I'm telling you, that's the number 1 resource. Weapons, take care of yourself. You know, you can't... You got to learn to become a hard ass, all right? That's bottom line. But anyway, folks, give me some of your ideas about surviving the apocalypse. What would you do? Where would you go? Do you have a plan? And what do you think the biggest currency in the post-apocalyptic world would be? I'm Crazy Jason, and you've been in my wacky emporium, baby.